Hello, here in my office. I'm going to put this video together as a makeup for that confirmation meeting for eighth graders that we held on October 19th. So today's the 20th, so I'm getting right on top of this as quickly as I can. And what I'll do is I'm going to go through the package of materials that we provided at that meeting, talk through the things that we talked about at the meeting, and kind of get you caught up. So you will need to pick this package of materials up from me before you can go completely through this video and kind of get a concept of what we were talking about. So the first thing on this particular package of materials is just a repeat of the schedule that we provided, and I think I provided it in 2 or 3 different ways, with the Sunday, October 19th meeting as the first thing on it. So as we move on forward, then you've got some of the other events that are there. You probably have this already. Maybe you have it on your refrigerator. So the next thing that is in there, we've got a set of yellow sheets stapled together, and it talks about the confirmation preparation requirements for eighth grade. Now, these are working in parallel with what we started in seventh grade, or for a couple of you, you're starting out based on some other stuff that was done from seventh grade to now. So first of all, we want to talk about the idea of the works of mercy projects. Remember the works of mercy, those corporal, bodily kind of things, and spiritual, prayer kind of things, works of mercy that we need to have 6 of them done and documented. If you need those documentation forms, I can get those to you, no problem at all. And then the other part of it is you can drop those off either at the St. Joseph Rectory. Mindy will know what to do with them. Jenny will know what to do with them. Or you can bring them over to St. Anne's. Let me know that you're coming, because I usually keep the door locked here. Or you can find me at Mass and give them to me at Mass. So works of mercy. Next is choosing a confirmation name, a confirmation saint. We'll talk about that coming up here in the mix of all of this. There's another sheet that talks about choosing that confirmation saint. There was the Faith to Faith magazine stuff that you would do with your sponsor. I still have a couple of you that don't have an actual sponsor chosen yet. We've got to get that done, because those Faith to Faith magazine articles, there are 6 of those, need to be completed with your sponsor. And as Shannon told at the meeting yesterday, hey, Christmas is coming up and the holidays are coming up. This is a perfect time to spend some time with your sponsor. And there's no reason that you couldn't do this over the phone if your sponsor isn't local. So those Faith to Faith magazines. And again, if there's something that you need in that respect, let me know and I will help. Sorry about that. I just hit the microphone. Next, there's going to be a letter to the pastor from the candidate, and there's also going to be a letter to the pastor from the sponsor. And we'll have some samples in this packet that kind of give you an outline of how to do that. We don't need anything overwhelming, but it's just a way to communicate with Father. And again, I like to do those interviews with Father, and he goes through those packages and takes a look at these letters and kind of reads through them to get a sense of, what you've done and who you are in a bigger scheme of it all. And then for both 7th grade and 8th grade years, we've talked about this for the last round, is that you need to be at Mass. You need to be familiar with the Mass. You need to be participating in the Mass, receiving Holy Eucharist, and being a part of the parish community. That's all a piece of everything. These works of mercy that we do all help us to be a part of the parish community too. And if you're not coming to Mass, there's really no reason to not do it. The way that our Masses are scheduled out, there's plenty of times to get to a Mass, even with the busy schedules that I know everyone has. We need to have you at the religion classes regularly, whether you're at CCD or whether you're going to Bishop Hoffman schools. Make sure that you're at your religion classes and getting good grades and all of that. And there's these different sessions that we go to. There's some important ones that are coming up. We've got the rite of enrollment on December 14th. I'll go over that just a little bit as we go through. There's a confirmation retreat on March 6th. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the March 29th. We're going to do a confirmation candidate and sponsor meeting at St. Joseph Parish Hall. And then in the church, where we'll actually practice confirmation. That's why it's important to have your sponsor there if you can. If not, someone to stand in for your sponsor to kind of give them the brief of what we covered and everything. But we'll walk through every little thing that'll happen at the cathedral. And then finally, April 11th will be confirmation at the Rosary Cathedral. And then the Sunday following, at either the 8:30 Mass or 10:30 Mass, St. Anne or St. Joseph will recognize you as the newly confirmed people that you are at those Masses. So the parish gets a chance to celebrate with you just a little bit. Okay, so moving onward, there's an outline for the letter from the candidate to the pastor and some of the things that you want to kind of look at. And then there's an outline letter for the sponsor letter to the pastor. So those three things in that yellow section. Next, I want you to think about this idea of choosing a saint name for confirmation. Choosing a saint name is something that we've done, and it's a tradition for us to do when we're confirmed. When I was confirmed, I chose the name Peter. And I think given everything that's gone on in the times that I've been working with 8th graders like you to form you for confirmation, if I had had the same type of formation that we're giving you now, I might have chosen a different name. I might have chosen someone like Wenceslas, who was the Duke of Bohemia, who was a saint. And Bohemia is where the Shell family originated from. So I thought that was kind of a neat way. But different things to think about. Find something. Maybe you have a hobby, or maybe there's a pursuit in your life or a career that you're looking at that you think might be important to you. There's probably a patron saint for that particular thing. That might be a good choice. It gives you a spiritual friend to talk to as you're going through those types of things. And maybe you're preparing for, going to college or whatever, or preparing for taking tests in different situations. You've got a spiritual friend that you can talk to and ask for some help. I know I do that occasionally with St. Peter in some of the spiritual things that I work with in the course of the work that I do as your director of faith formation. So it's kind of a neat thing. Another possibility is think about what your heritage was. I just talked about St. Wenceslas, Duke of Bohemia. There's a family that works over at the Casa Fiesta. If you walk into Casa Fiesta and look just to your right as you walk through the doors, there's a little shrine to the Virgin. And right now, down and to the left of that shrine is a picture of a young priest. It's a little bit older, about turn of the century. But the photograph there is of a saint named Saint Toribio. Saint Toribio was a martyr in the Cristeros Revolution in Mexico. The Mexican government had been martyring Christians, killing Christians, real regularly back at that period of time. And there was a whole group of people who were named saints or found to be saints in the course of all of that. Saint Toribio was one of them. But what's kind of neat is not only was Saint Toribio of Mexican heritage, like the folks who run Casa Fiesta, but he is related to the Jimenez family who runs Casa Fiesta. And I always find that fascinating, that they've got a saint in their family that they can choose as their confirmation name. How would that be? But anyway, so find the best saint for you. And then in BHCS classes, and then in our CCD class, we're going to have a report written kind of overviewing that particular saint. So you need to be thinking about that right away. In the course of this packet, there's a whole list of saints. They have saints, patron saints of, you name it, bricklayers and brush makers and grocers, medical technicians, mentally ill, musicians, philosophers, and you can go on and on. There's just a whole list of different saints that are patrons of different things. Plus, this also has different saint names that are in here as well. So you can find different names and what they're associated with. You can also go out on the internet and Google it, and you'll find a number of sites that'll do that for you as well. So you've got a lot of options there with all of that. So choosing your saint name. Next, we talked about this rite of enrollment. For St. Anne and St. Joseph, we're going to have it Sunday, December 14th, St. Anne, 8:30 a.m., St. Joseph, 10:30 a.m. And what I'm asking is that you would come to the entrance, the main entrance of both either church, whichever you're coming to, and check in with me, because I'm going to be providing crosses to either your sponsor or your parents as we're getting set up for this, so that they can put these on you during the course of the ceremony. And so you'll sit wherever you want to sit in the church, and then after the homily, Father's going to get up and we will begin a little bit of a ceremony. And I hate to do this, but they're either sticking together or I don't have a copy of the ceremony. In the course of the ceremony, Father will have the candidates first stand up, and then he will ask you a series of questions to which you respond, I do. And then your parents or sponsors will stand up. They will answer a question, I will. And then the parish community will answer a question, I will. And we'll just go forward with that. And there's a point in that ceremony where we'll put the cross around your neck. Next thing in this package is a little bit on the 8th grade confirmation retreat. This is at the Damascus Catholic Mission Campus in Centerburg, Ohio. And the dates are Friday, March 6th through Sunday, March 8th. We'll leave from the St. Joseph parking lot via a bus. We're going to bus all the candidates down there on Friday, March 6th. And we'll get more information about the timing and everything else as we go forward. So we'll be on a charter bus to go down. On the 8th, we ask for the parents to come and take their students home with them after the Mass. So there'll be a closing Mass at 10:30 or so at the campus, and then parents and everyone can get together and take all your stuff and go home. The cost for the retreat is $155. What we're asking is the parish will be covering $55 of it for each of the students, and then the cost of the persons who are attending will be $100 each, and that will be payable to your parish of registration. So if you pay it online via the website, you can do that. Just make sure you note that it's for confirmation retreat, and our online payment allows you to go between St. Anne or St. Joseph, depending on which parish you're registered to, or you can drop a check by the parish office. Make sure in the notes that it's confirmation retreat for so-and-so, and that it's St. Anne or St. Joseph, made out to St. Anne or St. Joseph. And again, the other thing that's in this package that you've got is a packing list. Go through that carefully so you can kind of plan ahead. And we'll talk about this packing list as we get little bit closer too. There's a couple of little ideas that we want to keep in mind. I always like to, as we get closer to that March date, start checking the weather out into the future to see exactly how cold or maybe how warm or how rainy it's going to be. And we have to look at the muddiness and things like that. So that's an important piece of everything. So the retreat and the packing list that's there. One of the things to remember on that retreat is you won't be taking a phone with you. There will be no electronic devices. Once you get down there, if the counselors find that you have one with you, they'll take it from you and give it to me, and then I'll have to keep it with me over the course of the retreat and then give it to you at the end. So it's actually no big deal to get through those days without the electronic devices with us. Finally, we've got a little bit on the day of confirmation. Again, Saturday, April 11th, 10 o'clock a.m., Holy Rosary Cathedral. In here, we give you a quick rundown of proper attire. I'll repeat this as we get closer too, especially at that practice meeting. One of the big things will be you want to wear good, firm shoes, because the floors of the cathedral are a little bit slippery and they're a little bit hard to navigate sometimes. But we'll worry about that later. We want to arrive at least by 9:30. I would ask that you get there by 9. It helps you get a better parking spot in the parking provided for the cathedral, but then it also lets you get in get to the bathroom and get situated in different places, because then we want to be seated by 9:30, and then at 9:30 or thereabouts, the cathedral staff will do a briefing and kind of walk through exactly what confirmation is going to look like for you. We will have a photographer there, and that photographer will take personal and group. Remember that, so don't wander off until we get our group photo after the actual confirmation mass. And our photographer takes Venmo and checks and cash and all that kind of stuff to do all that, and then we'll know about the registration or the little forms to fill out for that as we get there. On the back are directions to the cathedral, and a little bit of information on parking. All right, so that covers pretty much everything. One of the other things we talked a little bit about is responsibilities in the course of formation for confirmation. Mrs. Stahl and I are kind of the coordinators of it all, and we kind of look over to make sure that everything that we do is in accordance with what's given to us by the diocese, the requirements from the diocese to be confirmed. And so when we're hounding you about these kinds of things, that's why we want to make sure that we're perfectly ready to get you up there and have Bishop Thomas anoint you for confirmation. There's responsibility for the actual candidates, and your responsibilities will be to work to accomplish those things, to ask questions if you need to know, and to be open to suggestions and things like that. So focus on these requirements that we're putting in front of you, so that when we get to the point that it's time, we don't have to fight to get all these things done. And plus, just enjoy the process. Enjoy the whole thing of forming yourself to be confirmed, picking that saint name and praying to that saint for some guidance and those types of things. Finally, for the parents and the sponsors, you're the backup for your students. Help them when they need it. Work with them for the various things that need to be done. And feel free to contact me if there's anything at all that I can do to help to make the road a little smoother and whatnot. Okay, so that covers about everything that was done in the meeting. We were sorry we missed you, and I know that there were some folks doing some cross-country stuff down in Delaware. So I hope that that went well, and that everyone had a good time with all of that. And for those that missed for other reasons, sorry about that, but here's our makeup for all of this. If you would please, I'm placing this on the confirmation group within the St. Anne St. Joseph Facebook page. Reply that you watched the video on that particular situation. So that way I know for sure that that was there, and I'll know also because you came and picked up the package to go through it with me on the video. And so, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May He look upon you with kindness and bring you peace. And may the blessings of Almighty God, Father and Son and Holy Spirit, come down upon you, remain with you forever and ever. Amen. I'll see you at confirmation.